how to stay motivated as a DJ. I'm DJ Spiegel Spin, and I'm going to tell you how. So, being a DJ could be really frustrating and really lonely, and it's very hard to stay motivated sometimes. Now, I know from when I first started with DJ Pro, I just downloaded the app and started DJing, and I was terrible. And then I would just, put it down for a little bit, try it again, and then kind of be on and off because I just couldn't see myself doing it. It just seemed too difficult and too many things to learn at once, and it was overwhelming, and I just couldn't stay motivated to be a DJ. So I wish that I would have stuck with it more, and I think I would be farther along on my path as a DJ if I would have. And I'm here to make this video to help you guys stay motivated and keep practicing. So the first thing that I would recommend if you want to stay motivated as a DJ is make sure that you get a gig. Any type of gig, any type of DJing in front of other people will be good for you as a DJ. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a paid gig. It doesn't have to be a gig at a festival in front of thousands of people. There's plenty of ways where you could get a small gig going, and one of the most easiest ways is just throw your own party. So if you have a house or somewhere where you could throw a party, just invite, a couple of your friends. If you don't have any friends, invite your mom and your dad and your family, or maybe plan it around a holiday where you're going to family, or there's going to be a lot of people at one place, and you could plan the DJ. And now with DJ Pro and the iPad and controllers like this one, no longer is it a huge production to go do a gig. You don't need to rent a van and carry all stuff and wheel stuff around. All you need is your iPad, a controller, and if the person doesn't have a sound system, or you could use an existing sound bar or something like that, just as long as it's loud enough, all you need is your iPad and your controller if you want, or you could do a great gig with just your iPad. And the more you play music for people, you'll get the feel of what it's like, how to read a crowd, and how to decide what songs to play next, which is the most important thing about DJing. So if you're in your bedroom or your basement DJing, scratching, doing all these tricks, you could get good at the fundamentals and all the fancy stuff with DJing, but then you'll go out and play in front of people, and you won't understand why they're not liking it. You'll be like, oh, that's a perfect beat match, that's a perfect phrase match, and that was a chirp scratch with a stab scratch combo. But the people really don't care. The only people that are going to care are like other DJs and stuff like that. But they just want to hear the music that they want to hear at the right time. So the only way to get good at that is to actually do it in front of people. It doesn't matter if it's your uncle and your mom and people like that while you're starting out. Just make sure that you get out and you DJ in front of people. Now, the next way to stay motivated as a DJ is to be building your playlist every single day. So DJing isn't a part-time gig. It's not like punch the clock and go home for the day. DJing is a lifestyle. So you have to be working every day to improve your DJing, and then it compounds on top of each other. Then 6 months later, 1 year later, you'll look back and you'll see that you have all of these great playlists. So what I do is, if I'm driving for work, if I'm doing Uber Eats or something like that, I'll have a playlist playing on Spotify, on YouTube, and then I'll save the songs, and then when I go home, I go to the lab and I put all of these songs into playlists, and then I put cue points on each song so I know where to start and where to end. So this will keep you motivated by every day seeing your playlist growing. So this is my pop EDM playlist. It's most of the music I play is kind of pop EDM, kind of commercial stuff. So I build this playlist every day. So this playlist is 16 hours and 55 minutes long of songs that I've listened to, that I put cue points in, that I know that I'm ready to play, that I would play in a DJ set. So it took almost a year and a half since I started doing this to build it, and the first day, the second day, the first week, it might be frustrating, but if you look at it in a couple months, even in a year, you'll be amazed at all of these songs that you have collected. Because I know I say it a lot, but DJing isn't about doing the tricks, doing the scratches, turning the knobs. DJing is about playing music for people and knowing more about music, knowing more songs, knowing new artists before other people, because as a DJ, you're supposed to be the music expert. So you're playing songs that they know, that they like, and then you're also playing songs they might not have heard before, but they might like. So by building your playlist, you will be motivated every day to DJ because you'll have something to do regarding DJing every day. Another thing that can keep you motivated as a DJ is to practice scratching, because scratching will make you a lot more confident as a DJ. And a lot of people, if you tell them you DJ, they'll be like, oh, can you scratch, blah, blah, blah. And it's very easy to get started with scratching in DJ Pro. I'll show you really quick how to do the baby scratch. So if you hold in the music select button and you press over here, you got scratch tools. And here you go. We're going to move the crossfader to the middle. And then you just go. And it sounds really good. That's called the baby scratch. And you could even practice with a beat. So scratching will keep you motivated because it's something really cool, it's fun, and it's really satisfying to do. Just when you're learning the scratch, when you're learning to do beat matching and some of the stuff, don't get discouraged if you can't do it the first day, if you can't do it the first week, or even the first month, because these things are, some of the stuff for some people is something you can't learn right away. You have to keep practicing because you haven't used those specific muscles in your finger or haven't used both muscles at the same time. Like for the chirp scratch, you have to move the crossfader at the same time as you move the jog wheel, but it's not the exact same time. It's like right before or maybe right after. So it's kind of like driving a manual stick shift car. You got to press. Everyone knows that you press the clutch and then you change the gear, but for someone that's never driven a stick shift car, it's very unlikely that they could just hop in and get going on their first try. So DJing is like the same thing. And also, when you're first starting out, don't get overwhelmed by all the effects, by all the knobs, by all the buttons, by all the everything, because once you know what it's for, then it's easier to not get overwhelmed. So think of it like your first time driving a car. You get in and there's all these buttons, knobs, switches, gauges. You don't know what any of these are for. And then you realize that all you need to know is steering wheel, gas, brakes, and put it in the park and drive. You don't really need to know the oil temperature, and then that just turns on the air conditioning, and then that just turns on the radio. So when you first look at a DJ controller, whether you're using DJ Pro or someone's using Serato and you look at it, just know that crossfader is left and right, volume faders are the volume, and there's a play and a pause button, and you could add music. And it's that simple, and then just build upon there. And once you get the basics down, just keep going and going. So I hope this helped you guys with your staying motivated and being positive while you're DJing and just having fun along the ride. Because it's not about, becoming a famous DJ or being a high-paid DJ and all this. It's the journey and the steps that you take to get there that you'll remember the most. So if you like learning about DJing with DJ Pro and DJing with the iPad, subscribe to my channel because I make DJ videos every day.